today I will be talking with Gore, Mr. Gore Baitulum, who is running to be the representative of the Chadian diaspora in the National Assembly in Chad. We will be discussing in detail his campaign and why now, and why he needs to do it now, and what this means for developing countries in Africa, and especially in Chad. Mr. Baitulum, why are you running now? Why now?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about the campaign. To answer your question in a very simple way, there is some urgency from our diaspora to be involved in the process of Chad development and national development. It has been, we discussed that, we talked about it, it was in the planning. Now it's a reality in the sense that the law allowed us to be able to do just that. So they changed the constitution with in the Fourth Republic, allowing the diaspora, the Chinese diaspora, to be part of the development. So what that means in reality, we will have representatives running from different continents, representing the diaspora in those continents, and being in the National Assembly to take the diaspora's concerns and platforms and priorities, so the government can have a real sense of what is out there in terms of the diaspora and what are their needs, and put in place laws and regulations that allows them to contribute. In the United States, we wanted to run because, first of all, it is the United States. It's one of the largest partners of Africa in general, and Chad in particular, in terms of security, in terms of agricultural product and things like that. So the market is there, the opportunity is there, the diaspora is growing, and we need to be organized in a way that we can allow that to happen. It's important for our diaspora to be part of the conversation. And that's why today, after 20 years in this country, we felt the need to put that experience in serving our communities in our countries.
It seems pretty broad, your campaign, but what is your specific agenda?
We will have a final agenda once we assess and we reach out to the Chadian communities all over the Americas. We drafted a couple of lines that are the foundation in which we will have to build the platform. But at the end of the day, our agenda will be the Chadian diaspora's agenda. Basically, we need a community that is economically able to contribute, meaning we need our diaspora members to have jobs, to have opportunities. We want the kids to be able to culturally connect with their countries. We want the retired members of our communities that still have, experience to share with the country, to be able to travel to the country and to be able to pass that knowledge to the country and to the generation. We want our community to be able to feel comfortable, even living far away from Chad, by creating a cultural model that will allow them to have their life here as they are living it. We take that note from other communities that successfully were able to do that. If you look at today, the Ethiopian community or the West African communities, they were able to recreate their cultures in America. And I think that also, in a sense, bring an opportunity for us to reach out to our friends from America, to the American people that can see our culture, and this will build a bridge between the countries. And it's also part of the diplomacy that we're doing. We want the communities to reach out and write their pages in America's history, so it becomes part of America that we have a Chadian community that is dynamic, that is culturally present, economically present, and also being part of developing their own countries by having some projects and having some opportunity to do business and with the private sectors and things like that. So it is important that we get organized, and it's important that we take this conversation to the mainstream and have people realize that Chad exists. And for a long time, people associate our country with travel and violence and things like that. It's long gone. We still have some pockets of issues, but overall the country is stable. The country has been actually working very hard with the neighboring countries like Nigeria, Cameroon, to stabilize, to providing security forces. So it is a country that is on the path to fulfill its project, its development project. And I think if the diaspora can be associated to that process, it's a good news. It's certainly good news. So we look forward to going into the States and meeting the diasporas. We'll soon have a big reach out campaign. We'll go from Washington all the way to Texas. We're going to California. We're going to Louisiana, different places, and maybe Canada. We don't know yet, but we will be able to reach out to the Chadian community and listen to them. And that's why we'll have a platform and priorities that will take in consideration all the Chadians' needs and their concerns and what they hope for their representative to be able to work on.
What makes you the man for the job?
Out of our modest experience and time we live in the United States and all the initiatives that we did, I personally worked for the embassy in Washington for 8 years. I was in charge of press communication, public relations, and I come across a lot of opportunities. And talking about private sectors and opportunities, it's wide open for our countries to tap into. We recently started an initiative basically to encourage private sector investment between the US and Chad. We created an organization that was aimed at mobilizing and private sector investment from the US to Chad, and maybe seeing the opportunities to bring Chad's products and goods and agricultural goods in the United States market. So it's important. It's important that we economically are strong and are present. I think that will define this project that we are going through. That will define the future of our community. We need to find a pathway to secure financially our community, to arm them, equip them with opportunity where they can expand their God-given talents in private sector and develop market and things like that. And the effect, the ricochet effect on that back home is that we'll be able to provide young folks, the youth, an opportunity to be entrepreneur themselves, to believe in their ideas and to fund their project and put them on the right track. So I think we are embarking in something huge, something by all means humbling for us, but something that will potentially help the country. And I think that's why the Chadian Authority felt the need to create the legal environment for this project to go forward. So definitely we'll be connecting with the diaspora, and we're working with the African Union mission here in Washington, and they are very big in encouraging the diaspora to get organized. And I think that's something that it's good for us to know that we have institutions that are backing up and that are also putting the diaspora in the heart of their priorities. So we look forward to reaching out not only to the African Union, but also the diaspora that were successful, to learn a little bit from them and see what we can do to make the Chadian diaspora in America a true actor in Chad's development.
Once elected, how do you proceed to bring the private investors to Chad? Is there a pathway to that? And if so, what steps are you going to take from that?
I think the pathway, we'll have to recreate a lot of the formula to make it sustainable, to make it viable. But we have institutions that are here. We have the embassy that oversees this process of investment and facilitating that. We have organization, non-profit organization, American and Chadian organization that are here that are facilitating that. We have young entrepreneurs from Chad that lives in the United States that are already doing that. What we need to do is to have a conversation with all these actors, all these parties, come together in the form of a forum on investment from the US to Chad, and have a sense of what are the priorities, what are the sectors that we need to focus on to get it done. and give them the opportunity to do it, because they do it best. You know, the private sector, once you give them the opportunity, they are the mind creating, they are the entrepreneurs coming up with concept and ideas. So we cannot just like sit here and say it's going to be like this. We need to create a condition. Our job will be to create a condition, and as representative, we will be based on the community's agenda and the priorities of the country, facilitating this type of initiative to put the Chadian entrepreneur in contact with the U.S. entrepreneurs, the U.S. lawmakers with the Chadian lawmakers, and have a conversation about how they can guide us, how they can assist us, and how we can become partners in building this relationship and making it happen. The U.S. has a lot to offer in terms of technology, markets, and things like that. Chad has also a lot to offer in terms of product and raw product and a lot of resources. So we need to find what product is competitive in the US and find through, for example, the AGOA, that was the act that created investment exchange between the US and African countries, how we can bring Chad's product into the US market. We have a product like the Goma Arabic. We have a lot of products that are being utilized in US manufacturing of Coca-Colas and things like that. Sesame, we have karité, shaded butter. We have a lot of products that are already being used in the United States. And if you actually trace this product, and if we have mechanisms to trace the product, you will be amazed that few products are already in the United States, but are originally from Chad. You know, they go to other countries and come to the US with a stamp from another country, but those are actually products from Chad. So we need to make an mechanism to take ownership of our products. So the traceability of our program give us credit for what the agricultural people are doing, the cooperative are doing to grow the product. So
some profit too.
Absolutely. I think it's all about that. At the end, it has to be economically sound for them, for us to be able to do that. So, like I said, the diaspora can play that role, because from here we have a view that gives us the opportunity to inject positive direction and guide our people back home to see that there is a path to the effort they put in to grow their product or to manufacture their product. If we do it right, then they will see incentive on working with us, because it will give them a chance to sell and to send their kids to school, right, to improve their social condition of living and things like that.
Right, create employment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful. This is all has been wonderful.
Thank you.
Very educative and informative.
Thank you.
And thank you for the work you will be doing in Africa.
Thank you for you. Thank you for you, and also thank you for all the friends of Chad like you that support our initiatives. And I think even though the vote is for the Chadian community to vote in the diaspora to vote, you have and like many of you have the opportunity to be involved. You can volunteer, you can do outreach, you can do fundraising, you can donate, you can create opportunity for us to have places to go to talk about our campaign. We can reach out to schools, we can reach out to the people, and just convey the message. So thank you so much for making that happen, and I look forward to seeing you in Chad.
I will, definitely. I will take that as a formal invitation, and I will be coming.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Merci beaucoup, thank you.